Do you turn up for training, put your bag down, grab your racket out and jump on court without warming up? Well, today I'm going to be taking you through why you should warm up and not just jump on court and have a knock up. So I'm going to run through today how and why to do a warm up, as well as how to structure it and give you some ideas, things you can include in your own warm up to make it personal for you. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that needs to perform better on court, so the exercises do need to be specific. So what's the point of our warm-up? The warm-up is there to prepare our bodies both physically and mentally to play, jump on court and perform at our best. It's going to help reduce our risk of injury, soften muscle tissues and release any tension that might be there before we start. Badminton is a very intense sport that often involves us changing direction very quickly, so our body can take a battering. So it is important that we're warmed up before every single session and all your tournaments as well. How long should our warm-up be though? I'd recommend 10 to 30 minutes. Might sound like a long time, but actually if you're doing 10 to 30 minutes warming up, proper warm-up before every session, actually physiologically that's going to have quite a good effect on your badminton, and week on week it's going to further improve your performance, so don't neglect it. The first part of a warm-up is really easy and it's just going to involve some nice light exercises. These exercises can include jogging, backwards running, side steps, maybe some crossovers as well. These are all nice and easy exercises. The aim of these exercises is to slowly bring up your heart rate, increase your body temperature, and start to help the blood flow around the body. And these exercises should be done in a nice controlled manner. Shouldn't be nothing too jerky, nothing too intense. We don't want to rush and bring our heart rate up really quick because then we're going to shock our body. That's not the way to warm up. The best way to do it is to do it gradually. So now our body's a little bit more warm, we can now jump into the mobility and activation part of the warm-up. So this is all about mobilizing the joints and getting the muscles ready to work. So obviously for badminton, our knees, our ankles, our hips go through quite a lot of stress, take quite a lot of impact. So it's important these joints are ready to move, turn, twist in lots of different directions over lots of different planes. Exercises you want to be included in this area of your warm-up are your lunges, your squats, you've got your Spider-Man, your glute bridges, your any little mini band work you want to do, as well as balancing exercises, are all going to help mobilize these joints, activate the muscles that we're going to be using when we play, especially big muscles like our glutes. A lot of people don't use their glutes effectively or use them enough, so it's important that these areas are fired and ready to go. If we look at how this is going to impact our badminton and our game when we jump on court, if our muscles are a little bit more pliable and they've been mobilized and well activated, that's going to help us cover the court so much easier. It's going to help us getting into the corners with deep lunges much easier. And if we're talking about a game that's all about inches, you know, if we can get that little bit of a deeper lunge, that's going to help us maybe get that extra shot back in our games. So this part of the warm-up is crucial and should not be missed. So I've given you lots of exercises that you can include in your own warm-up, but again, it's important it's specific. So from my own personal point of view, this part of the warm-up, I would include things like calf raises, because I struggled to warm up my calves. They were often quite tense. And also I had to include lots of hip mobility work because I struggled with hip flexibility. So find areas that you struggle with and think about what exercise you can apply to help engage, activate and mobilize those areas. You'll notice I don't include static stretching, but why is that? Static stretching has little to no proof that it has any impact on our performance for badminton. So I would save our static stretching for after exercise. Any prolonged periods of stretching, so we're talking maybe 30 seconds or above, they've actually been shown to have a negative impact on performance and can take away our explosive power. And obviously for badminton that's vital, so I would stay away from the static stretching and focus more on the dynamic stretching. And that's what we're going to include in the next part. The final part of our warm-up is the dynamic and the sport-specific exercises. These exercises are going to prepare us for what lies ahead in terms of training or competition. These exercises are going to be key for improving our performance and priming our body ready to play when we jump on court. So I'd start with exercises that are going to get our muscles firing quickly, so something nice and explosive. So exercises we can include here are hopping, skipping, anything that involves jumping, explosive movements, like our 2 side steps, 1 jump, jumping sideways, anything like that that involves different planes of movement, jumping off 1, 2 legs sometimes, is going to be relating directly to how we're going to play. To bring up that heart rate a little bit further, to match our game intensity, I would now start to include a little bit of speed work. So this could include some fast feet, maybe some sprints off the mark, and we can link these together. And this is going to help us get our body prepared for what our game or training intensity is going to be like. Okay, this is why we don't just want to jump on court and it's a shock to our body, and like you get a bit out of breath because you're like, oh my god, this intensity is crazy. Where if we can slowly bring that intensity up, when we jump on court to start our games, we're going to be prepared, we're going to be ready to go. I don't want to forget the most badminton specific thing we can include in this final part of the warm-up, and that is of course shadow. Shadow is basically like pretend movement, replicating how we're going to move when we play. And this is great because it's going to be doing exactly the same movement as when we play our games. And I used to do this while I was waiting for my match to get called in tournaments. You don't have to do a lot, again, just a few movements, but gets us ready, gets all those muscles firing in the same way that we're going to be using when we play. And it's going to be great at using exactly the same neuromuscular patterns from our brain that it sends to all our body. So this is going to be a great thing to include to top off your warm-up. So what are the main effects of our warm-up? Increases strength and power, improves rate of force development, improves reaction time, improves muscle contraction and relaxation time, improves blood flow to muscles, and oxygen delivery to those muscles as well. Hopefully that highlights why you should be warming up, and that you're going to do the warm-up every time now before you play. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Out.